Many people get an admission letter to come and pursue a master's degree in a UK university. Most of them are excited. By the way, if you are one of them, congratulations. It's not an easy feat at all. So this is the beginning of a journey. Maybe you are to start in September and you're wondering, what are the things I need to do to make sure that my transition into the UK is as smooth as possible? I've got you. My name is Cynthia. I have a PhD in molecular microbiology from the University of Nottingham. I have experienced the student life, and I can tell you that there are some things you need to do before you come into the UK to make sure everything goes well and as you planned. In this video, I'll be giving you 20 things you need to do to prepare yourself before you come into the UK. Because it's going to be a very long video, I'm going to divide it into two parts. This is part one. Please make sure you watch part two. Without wasting time, let's get into this. Number one, you need to look for accommodation close to school. It is very important that you get to school as soon as you can and you don't spend so much time trying to get to school and coming back from school, because it can be very exhausting. If you live closer to the school and it is very, very expensive, maybe even outskirts of that city could save you some money. You can choose between staying on campus or outside the university campus. Both of them are still good, but they all have their pros and cons. Try to weigh up which one is best for your lifestyle. Number two, you need to search for schools for your kids. It will be very important to secure a place for your child. Try to find out those schools around your area and send them an email to ask if they have spaces left, so that once you come into the UK, your kids can start school as soon as possible. Always try to check the rating of the school before you choose a school for your kids. This will help increase the chances of your kid attending a good school. The third thing you need to do is to search for the email address, phone number of the home country society near you. As a Nigerian, I will search for the Nigerian society around me. I will try to read more about them and see how they can pass information that will help me. This is very important that you keep in contact with them. They can give you information that's very valuable to you. The fourth thing you need to do is you need to continue to save for this economy. You need to save as much money as possible. It's very important that you have enough money to support your studies and your family when you come into the UK. Do not remove the proof of fund in your account. Remember that you will need to pass through the immigration while trying to come into the UK. So make sure that the money you have in your account looks suitable enough to take care of you and your family, especially if you're traveling with family. The fifth thing I'll tell you to do is to get your international driver's license. It is very important that you have this when you come into the UK, because you might need to take up some jobs that needs you to drive from one point to the other. Some job opportunities require you to drive, and if you do not drive, this might be limiting to you, especially if you want to start working immediately you come into the UK. Once you get into the UK, you can drive for 6 to 12 months. I can't remember the exact date, but it's very important that you have this when you're coming in. The sixth thing you need to do is to learn how to drive. Yes, you might have an international driver's license, but if you do not know how to drive, or you don't know the driving rules in the UK, it might be limiting to you. One need for this is that when you come into the UK, you might need to furnish your apartment or your house, and that means that you might need to take some items from one place to another. Knowing how to drive will make it easier and better for you. When you pay a man with a van to do that job, it might even cost much more than the item you're transporting. Many people have complained about this problem, and I feel I should shed a little light on this. Number 7, you need to learn some skills. For example, as a black girl, you might need to do your hair yourself. It's very easy to get someone to do your hair back in your home country, but when you come here, it's difficult to get access to salons. And even if you go to a hair salon, it might be difficult for you to spend that amount of money that they require to get your hair braided, especially if you have daughters. You might start learning how to braid their hair yourself. This could help you save some coins so that you can use that money to take care of other things. So it's very important that you learn how to maybe barb your hair yourself or braid your hair. And sometimes these skills can come in handy when you just need to get small cash. Number 8, you need to be checking your email as often as possible. Make sure you communicate effectively with the admissions unit in your university. Whenever they send you an email, make sure you respond as soon as possible and you respond appropriately. It's very important that you check your spam. I had a bad experience one time, but I was so lucky. I received a scholarship email and it went straight into my spam, and that was a big problem for me. I didn't know it was there, and I was given a deadline at which if I don't respond to that email, they would give the scholarship to someone else. And luckily for me, when I wrote to the university understood my explanation for it. But someone else might not be that lucky. Please check your email as often as possible, so especially your spam, so that you don't miss important updates. This email could contain information about scholarship, admission, accommodation, your rent. So please check your email as often as possible. Number 9, you need to carry out some certification or training online that will boost your ability to get a job when you come into the UK. I'm talking about care training or data analyst or business analyst. These are very important skills that could help you integrate when you come into the UK. There are so many schools online that offer this certification in care. You might use this training to get a job or certificate or sponsorship. You can never tell. Either you or your dependent can carry out these trainings to boost your opportunity to get a job. Having these skills could be the difference between having a job immediately you come into the UK or having a job 2 months or 3 months after you've come in. The 10th point is that you need to study the UK map. You have to be conversant with the cities around the city where you're going to study. You have to know the distance between one point to another. What is the distance between your school to your rental accommodation? What are the neighboring cities around you? If you haven't found an accommodation yet, it might be good to try places where the accommodation is cheaper, maybe places that are not in the major cities, maybe off city. You need to get yourself conversant with the means of transportation around you, from buses to tram to railway. These will help you to adjust as soon as you get into the UK. It is your responsibility to make the right decision to help your transition to the UK to be as smooth as possible. Now, watch out for part 2. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Thank you. Bye.